They said it'd been a home run in 1904.
We have elections. He told me 10, so I'm sticking to 10. My father.
Good afternoon. What a pleasure and delight to be with all of you today, and I'm so happy to see you here. We'll start with our defining statement. Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world, one child and one community at the time. Now for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Buck's going to share our invocation.
Could we have a word of prayer, please, for our meal? We're thankful for this day and all that you've given us. There's many blessings, the opportunities and challenges which we all face. May we appreciate and use each day that comes to us, and we pray for strength and guidance for each day as it comes, and for each day's duties and each day's problems. May we be challenged to give our best always as we serve one child and one community at a time. Now bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies and us to thy service. Amen.
America the beautiful, stanza 1, and it begins, oh beautiful. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Thank you. That sounded beautiful. And now we will move right into our guest, and we do have some guests today, so let's be mindful to share the microphone so our guests can be introduced.
It's my great pleasure to have Susanna Robinson with me. She is my financial advisor. She works for Resource Management, which is a Raymond James company. Her dad, which a lot of folks knew, was Gene Langley. And she's married to Mark and has 4 kids. And I think she would be a great new member. Welcome, Suzanne.
Since you're his financial advisor, please advise him he needs to give a little more each year to the club.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Any other guests?
Yeah, fellow Kiwanis, I'm pleased to have my guest today, Marva Watkins. Marva is retired from the city of Raleigh, but more importantly, she's a proud graduate of Meredith College. Marva Watkins.
My guest is Jim Jenkins, wordsmith. And he's been a member and he misses us. Thank you.
And we miss him. Beverly, thank you for joining us on Zoom. Welcome. We have a full agenda, so we're going to move right into announcements. And Mel, will you start us off with announcements? I think Buck has the microphone.
All right. Mill Bernie Night's coming up soon, October 20. We're maybe 2 weeks out, I guess. So our sign-up's a little slow. We missed a week last week, but sign-up sheets are on the table. There'll be an email going out shortly that you can respond to that via email or phone. So get signed up, and don't, remember, you can bring a guest, you can bring your wife, you can bring whomever almost, and the club pays for it. This is actually a free event. So keep that in mind. There'll be great food, oyster casserole again this year. There'll be free beer, free wine. I mean, it's what else do you want? So sign up for Mill Bernie Night on the 20th. Thank you.
Thank you for hosting, and that's also going to be the night we do our officer installations. Okay, pancake breakfast. The pancake breakfast is right around the corner. Please pick up your tickets. Rocky Cricket, will you raise your hand?
All right, I just want to remind everyone that we have the volunteer sign-up sheets over here. I still need about 24 volunteers, so please stop by before you leave today. Thank you.
I wanted to let everyone know that we have our raffle up and going, effective today. So there are a whole slew of raffle prizes over here and sealed bid opportunities. We'd love for you to come over. Go ahead and buy your tickets today if you like, right after the meeting. However, if you don't have money on you or you want to give some thought to exactly what you want to bid on these, we have some time because we're going to run it all the way through the pancake breakfast itself. So we'll be here for this same meeting next week and also for Mill Bernie night in addition. So I'm not going to go over all the things we have here, but I invite you to come to the table and please buy raffle tickets and bid on these items. Thank you.
And the last part for the pancake breakfast today is the last day that if you want to be a sponsor and you want to receive recognition on the banner and the placemats and the t-shirt, today's the last day to tell me. So, and we've had the rolling thank you up there so you can see how many people did participate as a sponsor. And I think they deserve a round of applause.
Thank you. Clay, you want to talk to us about the Read and Learn?
Oh, yes. We are sponsoring Read and Learn at Poe, and I have signed up for that, and I would like for as many as can to do that. It's you can contact me, and I can give you the link to the coordinator there at the school.
Thank you. And the Read and Learn is on Fridays from 8:30 to 9:45. So please contact Clay. We'd love to have you. It's starting next Friday. We have a few signed up, but we'd love to have more. And that's at Poe Elementary. Now, also we have the bell ringing coming up. That is December the 3rd. Please mark your calendars. We will have the location next time. And next time we're going to have a slide of all upcoming events. So I don't know if you're hearing or listening, but there's a lot going on in this club, and that's all because of you. So good job and thank you. Leslie, I know you have an update. I can't find you. I know you're right here. We need to get you a microphone about the meetup program.
So young members, the next meeting that I put on the schedule will be next Tuesday, the 14th at Ladyfingers Market, so kind of North Raleigh.
Fantastic, and thank you for doing that. And there's a couple who are supposed to come today but did not make it, so that is a successful program with the meetups. Thank you, Leslie. Bill, I see you raising your hand.
Yes, one more thing I did not mention. For those of you who have pets or have someone in your sphere who has a pet, Charlie Wheelis has again this year graciously offered to do 5 pet portraits. We have examples of his work here. It's really amazing work. He'll do it for up to 5 members. He's doing it just to our membership only. They're $200 each. When 5 have signed up, that's the 5. So if you'd like to do that, we have a sign up here. If you'd like to go ahead and make that commitment, they also make great gifts.
So that's the first 5 that sign up.
Exactly. Yes. Thanks.
All right, let's do it. Also, please notice we have a screen. We're not going to go through each of the birthdays, but we want you to take a minute and look at that so you can see whose birthday it is. And if you're here, stand up for this week. Courtney.
Membership welfare. Leslie, stand up. Leslie has a new name. She is now Leslie Stanley. She got married since our last time together. So Leslie, congratulations. I had the pleasure of speaking with Randy Hartley last night. Great conversation. He's doing well, recovering good. It's going to be about a 6-week total recovery time from his surgery. But he sounded great, and it was wonderful to talk with him. And I have heard that Frank Crawley had surgery. Not sure if it was hip or knee, but we certainly hope that he recovers well.
Thank you. I went out to Big Wake Hospital and saw Charlie Wheelis, and he is doing fine. He had surgery on his hip, but one of the rods they put in snapped. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, now he's in rehab out there at the same location, and he's doing good. He's in good spirits.
Thank you for sharing. So we did not meet last week, and Sandra had a few remarks that she wanted to share, and so she's going to share those really quickly. So if you'll start working your way, the foundation update is going to be postponed till January. So June, if you will work your way to this point, because I know you have to make a nomination. So
Last week was my last day as president of the club, and it's really been a wonderful experience for me. I built new relationships with many members that I didn't really know before. I've learned a lot about this organization and how it really helps our community. I'm happy and sad, quite happy to turn the reins over to Stacy, who's going to do a great job, and sad to see the term end as well. So I want to give special thanks today to John Collar for his support and common sense on financial matters. He's really a joy to work with as treasurer. And also to Courtney for all the things she does to keep things on the rails. I don't think anyone appreciates the amount of work she puts in until they sit in this president role and how she really keeps the club together. So thank you, Courtney, for all of that. One last item, well, two last items. One, I want to recognize our outgoing directors. So Andy, you're here. Frank Manson. Is Robert Ruiz here? Yeah, could you guys stand up for just a second? Thank you so much. It was a great board to work with, and you guys were an important part of it. And lastly, Elle Poole, I saw you come in late. Hi, Elle, you're right there in front of me. Thank you so much for your role as immediate past president, for giving me lots of great advice and being there to support me. So thanks, Elle. My last item today is to present the foundation with a check. So June? John closed out the books for the year last week, and we're very happy as a club to present the foundation with a check for $15,410.56 to go to our foundation to be used for the community.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. And I wanted to briefly share something with you. First of all, I just wanted to share that the foundation will be giving the annual report for what transpired in 2022 in January. But today, what we wanted to share was we have 3 members who we've requested that they serve on the foundation board. And we're pleased to tell you that they are Gwen Vass and Phil Kirk and Rocky Strickland. And we're here today to hear a motion for their approval and approve them to serve in 2023. I hear several motions. Okay, do I have a second? Surely one was the second. There's another. Everybody agree? Aye? Thank you. Many thanks from the foundation.
Okay, real quick, Phil, I know right next, Sandra, stand up. So we just want to thank Sandra. She had a phenomenal year. Many things she did. She brought us back together in person, technology, and the website. Thank you for a great year.
Good afternoon. We're very pleased to welcome Dr. Jo Allen, the president of Meredith College, back to Kiwanis. She's the first graduate of Meredith to become president of the 131-year-old college, which is one of the largest private colleges in the United States. Prior to coming to Meredith in 2011, Dr. Allen served as senior vice president and provost and tenured professor at Widener University in Chester, Pennsylvania. She's a graduate of Meredith College, obviously, ECU, and Oklahoma State University. She's been both a distinguished faculty member and administrator at NC State and ECU, excuse me, and is a native of Eastern North Carolina. President Allen is a prolific, and for those of you who don't know, prolific means she writes a lot, author, and has published and presented in more than 200 regional, national, and international scholarly venues focusing on communication, assessment, and leadership in higher education. She has reached the highest level of leadership in both the National Association of Independent Colleges and Universities and the North Carolina Independent Colleges and Universities. In other words, she was the top volunteer officer of both of those organizations. She also chairs the President's Council of USA South, Meredith's athletic conference, which is the largest Division III conference in the nation. Clearly, her leadership abilities and scholarly writings and teaching has been recognized by her peers. She has led a great executive team at Meredith, which has had very little turnover since she became president, another mark of a great leader. She's also an excellent fundraiser and led a $90 million campaign, which met its goal in the quiet phase of the campaign, so the trustees increased the goal, and she and her team surpassed that goal. President Allen and her team have consistently exceeded enrollment and retention goals while increasing the academic profile of Meredith. And then the something that we've added to the introduction, something that's not in her bio, she did receive a new dog on Wednesday, an 18-pound Yorkshire Terrier mix from a rescue operation. She did have a dog named Bachelor, I believe, if I remember correctly. Now, she hasn't chosen a name yet for the dog, and I think we're going to recommend that you consider naming it Kiwanis, and that way you won't forget us. So let's welcome to the podium the president of Meredith College, Joe Allen.
So I'm going to name him Phil Kirk so I don't forget him. Fat chance, right? So thank you, Phil. Thank you for inviting me. I've been with you at least once before, and it's nice to come back and give you an update on what's happening on the college that is closest to you, if not in your heart, at least in your location here. So we share this neighborhood, we share this community in this town and state, and we are honored to do so. As Phil mentioned, we have been in business for 131 years, and what is distinctive about Meredith as a women's college, it was founded as a women's college, it's still a women's college. But what is truly distinctive is that the idea all along for Meredith was to offer an education that was equal to that men received. So while many women's colleges were founded with programs in home ec or nursing or secretarial school, Meredith was founded in the arts, the sciences, humanities, and so forth. And we hold very strongly to that tradition of academic excellence. We are known certainly for the humanities, but actually we surpassed that in biology, business, and psychology now. We have a great program that is AACSB accredited in business, which is the gold standard in business programs, and we're one of only 2 women's colleges in the world with that accreditation. We're quite proud of that. We also do a lot of work now in STEM, in science and technology, engineering and math. We have a dual degree program with NC State where students come to us and reside on campus and earn a degree in computer science or math or one of the hard sciences, as well as a degree from NC State in one of its engineering programs. So it's a 5-year program, and the students end up with 2 degrees, one from each institution. And I have a particular point of pride this year in that my goddaughter is in that program, and she is a freshman at Meredith and having a fabulous time. We were able to get her away from some Ivy Leagues and all that because she's really valued the opportunity she's already had to build friendships at Meredith. We're also known, of course, for education. And I have a lot of parents who come up and tell me we are praying that our child gets a Meredith teacher. And I have lots of superintendents and principals who say we'd like to hire more Meredith teachers. And I always have to remind people there are only so many to go around. So you have to cherish them and support them and all of that. But what people don't know about Meredith is that we don't have a major in education. So our students go into the content areas. They study math, they study the sciences, they study English and history, and then get teacher licensure. And it's one of the reasons that we are esteemed as one of the premier education programs in the nation, not just the state. So quite proud of that. We have other things that people don't know about us. For instance, we are really big in supporting students coming back to college. A lot of times women have reared their children, they've gotten husbands through school and so forth, and they're ready for their chance at education. So we have a special program called Wings. It is celebrating its 50th year this year, and it's a dynamic group of women. And we say it's one of the greatest ways to introduce top quality into a classroom is to have somebody sitting beside these 17, 18, 19-year-olds with some lived experience, right, who can share that, and they feed each other so beautifully. We also have a lot of students who have graduated from Meredith or any other school that's accredited, come back and say, you know, at age 30, 40, 50, 60, I want to change careers. I want to do something different. And so we have a program they can come back and just do the major. They don't have to start all over. They don't do general education again and all that. So we have a lot of students who are particularly attracted in the idea of coming back for either nutrition or for interior design or fashion design or business or some of our top programs for second degree students. We've also just initiated a new program, a master's degree program in biological sciences that sort of corresponds with some work we're doing in nutrition and healthcare and other things along those lines. So we continue to expand our offerings and continue to graduate terrific women to go out in the workplace. At the graduate level, of course, we welcome men as well. So it's because we have to. Our accreditors make us. So anyway, no, we are always delighted to have men on our campus as well, and they make another great contribution to the educational environment. So very important. So what do our students do out of class? You might be surprised to know that nationally about 10% of college students do a study abroad. At Meredith, that number is more between 30 and 40% of our students study abroad. We have a palazzo in Tuscany in Italy, which for some reason is very attractive to these students, but it becomes their home base, and they stay in Italy, and then weekend excursions all over Europe is really part of the signature of the program. Our goal in doing study abroad is to make independent travelers. And we teach them from the very beginning that once you learn some currency, some of the language, and how to be safe, as well as how to travel, you can go anywhere, by yourself, with a group, with friends, whatever. And so we think that's a real hallmark of the way that we do study abroad at Meredith. Our students also do internships and research, and they're engaged in the community where they pair their learning in class with what they learn in the community or learn at different corporations or learn in different companies. And that's quite exciting to sort of fulfill and get them to test some of that classroom knowledge. Does it really look like that out there? Well, yeah, it does. Or no, that wasn't my experience. It looks a little different. Let's talk about that as well. So we are quite proud of our educational program and the excellence of our faculty and our students that continue to do great things and make us proud for years to come. Yes, you do. Thank you. Let me mention quickly about our enrollment. It's been interesting coming through COVID, and I heard you all talking about getting back together. Sort of re-entry is a kind of a quirky feeling for a lot of people coming back to campus. Back in 2020, we did close the campus for face-to-face and residential living for the most part. We certainly had some students who couldn't go home. We had international students and some students for whom it was better that they stayed on campus. But I can tell you the best feeling in the last 3 years has been coming back to campus this fall. It has really felt remarkably good, and people are excited, and they're determined to cram in every bit of learning and instruction and traditions and fun and activities they can do. So it is a constant whirlwind on campus that we are quite pleased about. I'll give you a couple of updates about our facilities and our IT. I'm very proud of our technology organization on campus because when we had to pivot for COVID, there were a lot of faculty that weren't comfortable going to online instruction or virtual instruction, and our technology folks were right there for them to help them make that adjustment. But even more important to me is what they did for our students. We had students that had to go home and lived in areas where they didn't have Wi-Fi or they didn't have internet service services, or maybe didn't even have a laptop. And our IT folks drove to those homes and delivered laptops for students to borrow, helped them learn how to get online on free spots, and help the students stay on track for completing their degrees and graduating on time. That's really a testimony to the sort of spirit of Meredith College, is that we do pull together and we get things done and we support each other at the same time we challenge each other. So quite proud of that. We're doing some building on campus. We just opened a new building for communication, health and exercise, and sports science. These are two of our fastest growing majors. The communications program in the course of the last 7 years grew by 30%, and exercise and sports science grew by 52%. So we were really literally bursting at the seams and needed to get a new building up for them. We had to pause for a little while because of COVID. We didn't know about finances, we didn't know about supplies, we didn't know about workers or anything else. But we opened that building only 8 months late, so we were pleased with it. I hope you get to come by sometime and see it. It's a gorgeous building, and it serves our students and their needs beautifully, because with each of those programs, students literally walk from their classroom to the lab or simulation or whatever right across the hall or right back to back. So they actually apply what they've just learned in the moment, and then are ready to go out and practice in internships and ultimately in their jobs and careers. We also just completed a $1 million nutrition lab renovation. We're proud of our nutrition program as well. Our students have a 100% passage rate on licensure for nutrition. That's pretty much unheard of. In fact, when the accreditors came, they said, "How do you do it?" We said, "All right, we're just Meredith. This is how we do things." But it's paying that kind of attention to students. It's making sure that what they're learning, they're also testing, they're also poking at it to see if it's real. And to have the opportunity to do that in a top-rated facility now is great. We've had some of the great chefs around the state of North Carolina come in and see our new nutrition lab, and many of them have already picked out equipment they'd like to have in their own kitchen, so we take that as quite a compliment. We've got lots of other renovations going on. We've created more outdoor seating and patios, because one of the things COVID taught us is we needed more outdoor space for living and learning, socializing, traditions, and all of that. So that's been really exciting to see that kind of growth on campus with facilities, and we've got lots more that's on the list to be built. We did just open a new fitness center about 3 years ago, right before COVID, so we're glad to have that back up and going again. We are renovating the chapel. We are also renovating Jones Auditorium. At some point, we are in the fundraising part for that. And we're building a new sports complex as well, especially for tennis and softball. We're pleased that our students are our top priority and remain at the forefront of all we do in terms of our strategic plan, in terms of our financial planning, in terms of our fundraising. What is it that's going to give the students a better sense of support, greater challenges, and a leg up in the world that they're getting ready to inherit from us? So we were particularly proud of the Impact Scholarship that we offer our students. For admitted students, there's an automatic $20,000 a year scholarship for each of them. So we talked a minute ago about the sticker price of higher education and private higher education in particular, but when you see the offsets that not only we manage through the federal government and state government, but also through our own money, through what our donors have provided as scholarships for our students, it's truly remarkable that students can come to Meredith and live at Meredith for about the same price they pay for a public education. The kicker there is that they're also about 4 times more likely to graduate in 4 years instead of 5 or 6. So we like that idea of them being out there earning a living instead of paying tuition. So that's the other hallmark of the Meredith degree, is getting students in, giving them a rich experience, preparing them to go out into the world, and being excited and applauding them as they do just that. And we are thrilled with all of that. The final thing I'll just talk to you about is just how this all comes together as part of our community. One of the things we're committed to is an outstanding quality of life for the faculty, for the staff, for students, for our alumni, for the whole community that calls itself part of Meredith College. I'm very proud that during COVID, we did not have to do any layoffs, nor did we do any furloughs. In fact, we gave raises, modest raises, but we did give raises, and 3 times a bonus for frontline workers who could not work from home. So I think that speaks to the quality of care that we feel for each other, and we constantly knew who was out, who was sick, who thought they were sick, any children, parents, grandparents, and again, coming together to support each other through what has been nothing less than the craziest times of our lives. We also held tuition increases to the lowest amount in over 30 years. We actually quit counting at 30 years. So we wanted to make sure that students were not feeling the financial pinch of the uncertainties of parents who may have been laid off or that they themselves had lost their own jobs. So we're pleased that people continue to believe in this college. As Phil mentioned, we have the $90 million campaign that wildly surpassed our original goal. And I think that's pretty good evidence that people believe in what we do and honor what we do. So we are more than proud to always be part of the Raleigh community. We take nothing for granted in location because there's so many rich opportunities here for our students and for the living conditions and the general quality of life. So thank you for being part of that. That's one of the things the Kiwanis Club believes in, supports, and makes happen. So we are delighted to be partners with you in that. So thank you very much. If anybody has questions or comments.
Yes, I haven't kept up with it, but it used to be, is it still like this, that men go to night school and mainly do graduate work?
Men only do graduate work at Meredith, unless they're coming through cooperating Raleigh colleges. But a lot of our graduate programs are both day and night now, because we needed to be more flexible. We have a lot of parents in our graduate programs who need to be in school when their kids are in school. So we have to move that as suits them. Yes, yes.
You mentioned, or Phil mentioned, NCAA Division III sports. What sports are offered on the Meredith campus for your student body? And how do you go at Division III level, how do you go about recruiting them? And I assume there's no athletic scholarships. How do you assist them in coming to your school to participate?
Correct. So Division III does not allow for athletic scholarships. We're fortunate we recruit students academically. They are students first and then athletes. But I will tell you, our average GPA of students at Meredith College coming in is a 3.5. And so that's a message from the very beginning, and our athletes continuously lead in academics throughout their 4 years at Meredith. So they are probably about 3.4, 3.5 themselves. Sports, okay, here you go. There are 10 of them. You ready? If I leave one out, you got to tell me what I'm missing. Basketball, softball, volleyball, tennis, golf, lacrosse, track and field, cross country, soccer, field hockey. So you answered your own question. Yes, we have 10 sports. USA South was the largest Division III. We actually intentionally grew to about 18 or 19 schools, depending on how you count the sports. It is a co-ed athletic conference, and in fact, they always said there's a special award called the President's Cup, and that's for the school, the institution that has the most wins in any academic year, all seasons. And it was always said that no single gender school could ever win that. We did. We did. Yep. So pretty pleased with that. Yes.
What's the enrollment?
We're about 1,600, give or take. That's undergrad plus grad. Yes.
At one time, I know Meredith was affiliated with Baptist.
Mm-hmm.
You still affiliated with the Baptist? And if so, no, not at all anymore?
No. They broke away from the Baptist in 1997. So however many years ago that was. Somebody do the math. Yeah. Me too, Phil. So we haven't been for years, but we are very proud of our Baptist heritage and all that, so. It got to be sticky. There were some things about faculty relations and the board and all that, so the board voted to. Did
you see what Wake Forest did? Is that a following
Well,
up to it?
actually, Wake Forest did this, and we tucked right in under them. We said, let Wake Forest take the flag, and we'll just sit and go, us too.
Well, let's give a big
Thank you.
round.
Thank you.
So I see that we have a book up here that we donate to the Feed and Read, and would you be willing to sign it in the back? And I want to say thank you, and I will say, after having attended an all-girls school and a co-ed, the all-girls school was much more competitive, so thank you for your work in the community.
Thank you.
And all you do to build strong women in our community. And come
Now, where
join
did you
us.
go? Okay.
All right, so thank you so much, and thank you for coming today. One thing I neglected to mention, Cricket, forgive me, if you want to volunteer with Salvation Army on Fridays, the fourth Friday of the month, please contact Cricket Harold. She is leading us. Beverly, Marva, and Susanna, thank you for joining us. Please come back. We'd love to have you. And we are now adjourned.